Good morning. It's Christmas Day. We're streaming. Let me get to where I need to get and let me hit the right buttons. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I showed you stuff to start. I don't know. I messed with the microphone. That was a mistake. I like to speak into the microphone, or at least have to be close. I don't really like to bend my head like this. Kind of weird. Well, it's Christmas morning. How are you? Did you get gifts yet? I got my gift. I'm wearing a gift because I thought it'd be nice. I thought it'd be respectful. This is from last night's Christmas Eve celebration. This morning we opened presents just like an hour ago, and yeah, that's where I'm at. I watched my stream and I watched the podcast yesterday from yesterday last night, and there was some like flickering of the lights. I don't know what that's about. I, I don't know if the power's just kind of going crazy or what, but I thought I looked really good as far as I thought it looked really clear. Um, but I'm starting to get to the point where I might change some things up with the camera. I've I've literally left it the same way since I started, and I don't know. Like, so in the background, what annoyed me the most in the background was like I like to see everything clearly in the background, and if I autofocus it, then it's going to be kind of off. But I mean, nobody's really paying attention to the stuff in the background. They're all paying attention to my bald head. So I don't know. I don't know. Just get ready. If I do change and I don't like the way it shows up, there's a lot of stuff. I really like on the camera. I have a nice camera, but I don't know if I always think it looks kind of smoky. And I don't know if it's the camera. I don't know if it's the camera interface with the computer, the capture card. I don't know what it is, but what I see right now, I like. But what I see when it comes back on video, I don't like. It's like cloudy. So that's annoying. But let's just see what we can do with it. Um, don't be surprised if things get changed up soon. So what day did I do that whiteboard? Like last week, I was sick and I did the whiteboard. I still don't have it fixed. I still haven't gotten around to it. The holidays are a time of just crazy, you know, crazy. Running around shopping, doing all these other things. I didn't get to it. I think that was the day when I knew I was getting sick because it just didn't go well. And normally I can put up a whiteboard without any issues. So, God, it's Christmas Day. I I'm going to try and talk about how things are different as you get older for Christmas Day. So, and this is true with all the holidays. So, everything, like when you're a kid, you want to have you like, hey, it's Christmas. I get all these gifts, and that's all you're thinking about. Like, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? What am I going to get? And then you get in this adult thing, and it's like, well, I hope everyone has a present that they like. Okay, so now all of a sudden you're not like, what did I get? What did I get? Hope everybody got a present that they like. Hope that we can have the family together and not be sick, or you're thinking about people that have passed. Like you're reminiscing. I've had a nasty habit. My uncle passed away during Christmas and my grandmother passed away during Christmas. And it was not like a sudden death. It was like, it kind of dragged through December. It was not good, not good. So that comes up. Like my wife will cook quite a bit today, but I'll help in the kitchen. And so, you're worried about getting the food ready and getting everything set up for people to be over. It's bad. I got a text because I had to set that up because that could be bad. So you're doing all this stuff and you're worried that it's not going to go well versus, hey, I'm going to get a gift. And then I don't know about you, but I like gifts. Okay, everybody likes getting gifts, but it's not. It's just not the same as when you're a kid. You know, like when you're a kid, you can't go buy your own gift. You know, you're stuck, and so anything you get is like because you managed to show somebody what you wanted, and so you know, it's just different. It's strange. Uh, I'm happy with I'm happy with what I got, and we'll leave it at that. So, did everybody get what they wanted for Christmas? I didn't really want anything, so 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 everything's a bonus today for me. Um, I do like sweaters. At I'm thinking at like age 10, you're not going to get me to be excited about a sweater. And even the stuff about the sweater, like it's gonna be it's warm for my bones. like like I never thought that way when I was 10. So today is the 27th consecutive live stream, and I don't know about you. Have you ever done 30 things in a row, 30 days in a row? It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle the last couple of days because I've been sick. So my whole schedule's being thrown off. Normally this, and then there's the biggest holiday. I mean, not for us, the biggest holiday of the year. So trying to come up with today I got a open presents, live stream, fixed dinner. We're gonna have early afternoon dinner, and then I'll get worn out. I don't do well in crowds. I'll be zapped. I mean, I'm an introvert, and I'll just be zapped by the time the day is over. I mean, just 5 o'clock tonight, and so it wasn't like I could do a live stream at night because I won't be with the program. So, but 27, you know, what did you think would happen if you live streamed 30 days in a row? What did you think would happen if you live stream 27 days in a row? Well, I'm just trying to get better. I just try to have a cohesive run. I'd like to integrate the chat, but chat hasn't shown up other than to spam me. And like one time I had a guy out of Arizona come and play. Now part of that's because of the time. I mean, who's at 9 o'clock in the morning? Who's chatting? Well, a lot of people are. They're doing it in the background because I know I see other chats. I'm just not a night person anymore. I'm not. So anyway, can you come up with a cohesive thought? Can you present it in a way? Can you tell a story that works? I had a friend, Tim, he sent me an article, and that's, by the way, send me articles and stuff on real estate. I try to get as many as I can, but I don't know if I get all of them in the world. And so I'm going to make that the subject of a podcast episode this afternoon, if I can get around to it. I mean, what time did I start? I started at 10:30, so I got to be off the live stream at 11:30. I got to cook the Christmas ham. We're having ham and roast beef tonight. I mean, how? It doesn't get any better than that. Getting pies from the Blue Owl. Blue Owl is this, I don't know if you guys are familiar. Well, you're probably not, but look up Kimmswick on a map. Kimmswick, Missouri. It's this cute little place that's right next to the river, and it's I don't know. I feel like it's a testament to hard-headedness because it floods. Maybe once every 2 years, once every 3 years. Everything in the town, it's a little town, and it just gets all flooded. And people have to leave, and then they come back, and they rebuild, and they start over again. And the Blue Owl's been there for like, 30 or 40 years. It's a great little restaurant. It's like a bakery, and it's just wonderful. And anyway, I decided this year we'd get some pies from there. I got a chocolate pie and I got a pecan pie. I'm not a fan of pecan pie, but my wife likes the pecan pie, so we got one. But just the whole day is going to be just nice. What do you want to get into today? I've got a big list. Talk about Google Trends. We'll talk about luxury homes. We're going to be in San Diego today. Some articles I saw on real estate that I thought were interesting. But that's going to be the day. That's going to be the stream. Kind of, like I said, low key. Tomorrow's going to be even more low key. A lot of the news about real estate, I mean, they're business writers, and they started taking off, like say on I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday. So the news is kind of down, and that's why I wanted to do the streaming. As I've said, you know, I don't like when everything is shut down, like the grocery stores being shut down. Like I said yesterday, driving me crazy. When I don't know my streaming age group and my podcast age group should be like no older than maybe 35, based on the demographics I've seen, and probably skew male. But when I was a kid, you guys probably wouldn't remember this, but there was only like 3 television channels, maybe 5. And so all those people went home for Christmas. And so there was nothing on TV. So there's just nothing to do. I mean, as a kid, go play outside. People don't do that anymore. But we have so much we can do. Like, we have so many places we can spend our time and enjoy it. The idea of a Netflix, I mean, come on, or Amazon Prime or anything. But as I say that, it explains the channel a lot. I mean, if you're watching real estate live streams on a Christmas day, like you are in the business. You care about real estate. If you're doing, I mean, it might be crazy if you're doing a live stream, but think about this. There's any number of things you can watch on YouTube right now, and you decided to spend time with me. So thank you for that. I saw some interesting statistics yesterday on a podcast, but they do a podcast that turns to a YouTube video like I do, and they were talking about how is there a bias against smaller channels on YouTube, and it's kind of funny. One, YouTube is my outlet now. Real estate is tough, and if you talk to your wife and kids, I mean, like, why is Daddy angry tonight? Why is Daddy not able to buy this tonight? It gets a little bit rough on the mindset. How did Daddy get screwed over again this week? It's like people get tired. My family, I'm sure they love me, but I'm sure they don't want to hear about my day anymore. It's because here's why well, the kids not so much, but the wife. I mean, anything that goes wrong with you, they hurt. And why would you want to put your family through that? So you just keep it in. Now I've got this YouTube channel, and do we wish for success? Yes. Do we expect success? Not really. And what is the definition of success? I'm trying to make myself better every day. Am I winning? No, not yet. But I will. But anyway, they talked about how some people don't see your, if 7 people watch your video, then that's 700 impressions for the next week. Now, my impressions are terrible. I don't even know why. Well, I do know why, because there's nobody watching, and so there's no way for the algorithm to put it out. But I did some things wrong on my channel to start that I'm probably paying for. But like, I had 100 impressions yesterday. 100 impressions isn't going to do it. I could have the best video ever, and it's not going to do a darn bit of good. I could have the best thumbnail. I could have the best title. Nobody's coming. And that's fine. I say that's fine because the goal is to be coherent online and not be afraid of the camera. Am I afraid of the camera? Yeah. I have some things I'd like to do on my channel on the real estate side, but I'm just afraid to do them. I'm afraid of writing scripts. I don't like things highly scripted. I don't like things highly scripted, as I've said a number of times. But let me get into what they said. So they said that your impressions were based on how many people watched your videos and how they work that out. Viewer history. My viewers are like 12-year-old dudes from the Philippines that like my YouTube shorts. So I got nothing. I did get a subscriber this week. I was really happy for that. There's all these videos like on YouTube, like what happens when you wake up and you got no subscribers. I'm like, well, that's pretty much every day. But what they said was, your channel people might watch your videos, 10 months later, or a year later. So that's contrary to what we see, because if one of my YouTuber people that I watch puts out a video, they've got 200,000 views in the first, 4 hours. And so it's tough. I might not get 10 views on a video that I produce. I'm just trying to see if I hit table, if that's what's causing the camera to go, the camera to go black or kind of flicker. Anyway, so anything I do today, so this is 12/25/21, wouldn't be seen or wouldn't have that, give it some time, they say. Now, I've had videos, I started it really in earnest in July with my podcast and the YouTube videos. Not a lot of traction. So yeah. The stress today is just significant. I'm not stressed about the video, but just getting everything done. When you're a kid, you don't care about being a good host. You don't care if your family enjoys the meal. But it's just now I do care. I want everybody to have a good time. No fighting. I feel like I'm blessed with a family that's like, they're political, but they're not over family, not politics over family. And I don't know. So let's go over some stuff today. We'll kick it down a notch. This is going to be the nap live stream. So if you want to just relax, we'll just go over stuff. And I don't feel too fired up. I don't know if you can tell my voice is a little bit off still. I'm probably going to cough in a minute. Anyway, there's your warning. So went on Google Trends this morning, and what do you think would be like the number one thing people are searching for yesterday? I did a Joe Biden and coughed in my hand. I'm not. Just deal with it. Would it be a Netflix show? Would that be the number one search? Well, it is. Let's see this thing here. It says Don't Look Up. That's the name of the movie. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you probably know about it. I haven't turned on my Netflix this week. I'm watching The Expanse, Amazon Prime. Didn't get to watch that last night. But what does it say? It says, don't look up. 2 astronomers go on a media tour to warn humankind of a planet-killing comet hurling towards the Earth. The response from the distracted world is meh. Social issues dramas. Is it funny? I don't know. This is all I get. Now, I've noticed this, like, say, so Spider-Man came out, and most of the searches were like reviews. Well, I don't want to review a movie. I don't want to read a review of a movie that I've not seen. For you, doesn't seem right. So I'm not. This one here. I think it's the idea that there's heavy hitters in the cast. So Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and Meryl Streep are in the movie, along with some other people that I don't know. Was it Jonah Hill? Jonah Hill. It says it's a Critics' Choice nominee. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, and Jonah Hill lead a blockbuster cast in this comedy. It's a comedy. Comedy here. Says it right there. And then social issue drama there. So, I don't know. They got a nice little page for it. I mean, these people here, like Tyler Perry. It's the Tyler Perry I'm thinking of. That guy's kind of famous. Kate Blanchett. Ariana Grande. I don't know. Anyway, you'd think that this would work. It says this movie is offbeat, provocative, witty, and irreverent. I don't know. But I mean, this is what you got to go on. But if you got Netflix, what do you care? Say you watch it and it's terrible. Well, it was kind of free. You know? Like, how bad is it going to be? The Will Ferrell movie I watched that one time, that was terrible. The Eurovision song. I mean, how do you take such a great actor and all of a sudden he's terrible? Or a great, comedic actor and all of a sudden he's terrible? Well, you put him in that movie after Anchorman 2. Also terrible. People say, why don't you watch as many movies as you used to? Why don't you know about all these things? Well, they're terrible, and I don't want to waste my time. Like, I get invested in a movie, okay? I might shed a tear. If there's a Western and somebody gets shot that, they've been building the character the whole time, I'm going to cry. And I don't like to cry. But, I mean, I'm emotionally invested in the film. This film here, I don't know. And now understand, Leonardo DiCaprio is famous for being in Growing Pains for me. Okay? He's Kirk Cameron's little brother. That's how old I am. So, I'm not going to watch the movie. If I happen to be really, really bored, I'll watch it. But that had 1 million views. Or not 1 million views. That had 1 million searches yesterday. So to me, are people rigging search? Yes. The answer is yes. But would a studio, say Netflix, rig Google search or try to get aren't they doing their job by getting the information out that I would not have known that this movie existed without the high ranking on Google Trends yesterday. So can we say that they did their job? I mean, yes. I don't think there's any doubt. Now, if Deerwood Realty got their stuff together, maybe they would have the ability to mess with search and the ability to have people be interested. We don't. We haven't had too much success. But anyway, here's your movie. That's what they're looking up. The other thing they're looking up today, I want to get the numbers. 200,000 searches was for A Christmas Story. Do you remember A Christmas Story? It came out in 1983. But this was kind of real estate related. I thought it might be kind of fun. It says, hello, Cleveland. This is in Parade magazine. Hello, Cleveland. Everything you want to know about the house in A Christmas Story, including how to stay there. It says, in many ways, the film A Christmas Story seems to fly in the face of what a Christmas classic should be. All the main character, 9-year-old Ralphie Parker, wants for Christmas is an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range air rifle, even though everyone assures him you'll shoot your eye out. Ralphie is also disappointed by Santa, fights a bully, and is forced to put on a frighteningly pink pair of bunny pajamas made by his Aunt Clara. None of that seems like the warm and fuzzy makings of, say, a Charlie Brown Christmas. And there's not that much in the way of a Christmas Carol-like morality tale either. But somehow A Christmas Story has still become a cherished and beloved holiday tradition. I have not watched it in quite some time, but I will say, solid film. Well, yes, I'm saying film. It's not just a movie. Film was based on In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, a collection of semi-autobiographical stories by humorist and radio personality Gene Shepard. He lent his engaging radio voice to the film, narrating as adult Ralphie while telling the story of his circa 1940 Christmas. When the film was released right before Thanksgiving in 1983, there was no sign of how popular it would be today. Nobody was ready for another Christmas movie, says Steve Sedlecki, executive director of A Christmas Story House and Museum. It got most of its money earned right here in Cleveland from people who wanted to go see it from being filmed here. Now, so did you know A Christmas Story was filmed in Cleveland? I did not. So now I'll learn something new. Thank you, Google. In the years since its release, it's only become more and more canonical. The story of a family from years gone by resonates with people. It even inspired the Wonder Years, right down to the voiceover in every episode. Why do people like it so much? Zach Ward, who played Ralphie's nemesis, Scott Farkas, is that spelled right? Thinks he knows why. I've seen 5-year-olds squat down in front of the TV and not talk while they're watching it. There's no song from Frozen. There's no dancing. There's no talking reindeer or snowman. It's kids in a time when that 5-year-old doesn't care if it's a little white boy or girl, little black boy or girl, Hispanic, Asian, Jewish. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They're watching because that's their family. Huh. Billingsley likewise said there's tension. There's some fear of the father. There's anxiety in the household. There's very much a sibling battle. There's a mother trying to hold things together and hold her place. There's probably financial trouble. The father's do-it-yourself aspect of the household. Nothing is sourced out. He's going to handle it. Yet through all that, there's a genuine sense of love and protection within the house. And yet the words, I love you, are never uttered in the movie. Well, let me just say this. This goes along with what I've been doing with the real estate game, and that is, to me, I like to see things that are real. I mean, when you see the manufactured Christmas story, you know, every kid gets what they want. Oh, my kid wants, you know, a MacBook Pro. You know, that's only $2,000. Let me just fly out there and get it for you. You know, it's not real. I mean, the kid may get it, but this story seemed real. Now, you know, it seemed at least like the family part was real. How many people get along with everybody in their family? How many people are like, are you afraid of your dad? I don't know. It just seems like that it was closer to reality. So, but what about the iconic house itself? This is the part that I thought was interesting. It says, in the years after filming, it became dilapidated and went on the market in 2004. However, in a true Christmas miracle, the house that served the family's abode was rescued, became a Lego set, and now has a thriving museum and gift shop. People can even sleep there overnight. Sit back with some Ovaltine and find everything you want to know about a house from the Christmas Story, including how it ended up on eBay, got saved by a purveyor of leg lamps, and how you can sleep in the house even on Christmas Eve. Okay, so the house's address is at 3159 West 11th Street in Cleveland, Ohio. In a neat twist of fate, Shepard actually grew up on a Cleveland street in Hammond, Indiana. However, it was a Christmas Story director, Bob Clark, who spotted the house that would become the house. Clark and the production team were intent on finding a location that would resemble Indiana's steel mill towns, eventually turning to Cleveland. Clark immediately knew the house on 11th Street was the one. It reminded him of his own childhood house growing up. What clinched the deal is that the film required the department store to film in, and the nearby Higbees came through, as long as no one ruined the store's reputation by cursing, of course. Fun fact, that's why the old man just grumbles his curses instead of saying them out loud. Where did they film A Christmas Story? Well, all the exteriors of A Christmas Story were done in Cleveland and nearby locations. All the neighborhood scenes and backyard scenes were done at the 11th Street house. It turned out to be a challenge for filmmakers because even though they were in Ohio, a place that often gets its share of snow, there wasn't enough of it during production of the film. Much of the snow that viewers see had to be brought in from ski resorts in the area. Firefighter foam and potato flakes were also used. None of the film was shot inside the actual house. In fact, just about all of the movie's interior shots were largely done in Canada. Okay, so who owns a house from the Christmas Story? The 1,792 square foot house was bought in 2004 by a California entrepreneur and Christmas Story fan, Brian Jones, on eBay. Jones ultimately bought the place for only $150,000 and paid for it with money from his business. What kind of business, you ask? The Red Ryder Leg Lamp Company, which sells leg lamps, of course. Jones then spent $350,000 to restore the house and recreate the home's interior from the film. Eventually, Jones bought the house across the street and turned that into a museum and gift shop. He also bought the Bumpus house next door. So, here in Cleveland, it says, Is the Christmas Story house in a bad neighborhood? Well, the Tremont neighborhood of Cleveland, where the house sits, went through some rough times. This was a neighborhood, to be honest, you did not venture into. It was crime-ridden. He said that in 2004, when Jones bought the Christmas Story house, it was about a month from being condemned and torn down, completely gutted down in the stud walls, no copper, no wiring. However, renewed interest in a Christmas Story house has helped Tremont in the recent years. Every time I see the neighbors getting a little more invested in the Christmas Story house, and of course, we invest in the neighborhood. Really a fun neighborhood to be in here. It's really great to see this part coming back. Very working class, very Cleveland West Side. There's even an actual Christmas Story 5K and 10K run that raises money for the neighborhood. The finish line is in front of the museum. Let me tell you, you've missed out until you've witnessed 1,000 bunny suits running down this street. Huh. So how much? So you can go stay in the place, okay? How much is all this? Prices vary throughout the year, but in 2021, costs started at $495 a night in April and ran up to $4,000, $39.95 for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and prices are going up in 2022. Certain dates require a 2-night minimum stay. For considerably less and year-round, you can live the hillbilly life at the Bumpus House next door, which offers 2 spaces. The Bumpus House Hound Dog Haven on the first floor and the Bumpus House Stolen Turkey Suite on the upper floors. There's how can you watch a Christmas story? There's several ways to watch the film, but if you can wait until Christmas Eve, many fans enjoy the tradition of watching one of the nonstop broadcasts that take place for 24 hours on both TBS and TNT. So that's nice. I mean, how can you say that that's bad? So that had a Christmas Story had 200,000 searches yesterday. Pretty cool. All right. Where are we going? You know, I like to look at real estate. I like to look at luxury real estate. And although I normally stay out of New York City because I don't really like condos, I haven't been giving California very much love lately either. They've got their own problems. Let's just say that. But I've known all my life that San Diego's one of the more beautiful places on earth. I thought we should look at some of the listings there and see what you think. Just in checking, so you got Sotheby's Realty has the #1 listing and the most expensive listing. You got Berkshire Hathaway #2, Compass #3, Compass #4, Compass #5, Del Mar Mesa Realty #6, and then Berkshire Hathaway Home Services #7. But then you got 3 Compasses in a row. So those are the people that are listing the exclusive homes in San Diego. Let's look at this first one now. Yesterday, we had that issue with Houston where I don't know what happened. I was just committed to looking at Houston homes for sale, and it had not dawned on me when we looked at it like 3 days earlier. Let's hope that doesn't happen here. I am interested in these homes. So here we go. The first one, $28 million, 7 bedrooms, 7.5 baths, 10,300 square feet. 189 days on Realtor.com, 3-car garage. Here's your first view. Now, I like to have the front of the home be the first picture, but for this particular home, this is why you buy it. This is why you want to see the ocean, and it is gorgeous. Can you imagine owning this? Let's see. It's been on the market for 189 days, but has it been on the market longer than that and just been taken off the market? So 2020, it's been on the market just for a year. But they started at 25 million and they moved up to 28 million. That's kind of interesting. It's beautiful. So here we go. Let's look. So that's the front. To me, the architecture of California is fine. It's not something I would particularly enjoy. But again, I don't have the money. So you can see the lot. It's right on the ocean. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So as we go, I mean, look at that. Look at those views. 53 pictures for a $28 million listing. I'm fine with. Certainly not 100 for a $300,000 listing. That's stupid. We've seen this house before. You know, these houses don't move, and that's why I get upset. Is because, like, John, would you list a $28 million house? Yes, I would. But I mean, what if you knew it was going to take you 200 days or more to sell it? I don't really like that. I don't really like that. I like to get houses sold from my buyers or my sellers, and I like my buyers to be able to buy something that hasn't been on the market forever, unless they're looking for a deal. I mean, where do you come in on the negotiations on this? It's a gorgeous house, once in a lifetime. You know, maybe there's some comps somewhere that say that this house is worth something, but I mean, really, it's a one of a kind property. Would you, if you come in at 20, if you come in at 27.5, are you insulting the seller? I mean, heck, they listed it for 19 million. Or they bought it for 13 million in 2013. Which goes along with that. We were talking about, if you buy an expensive piece of property, does it go up faster than a lower price piece of property? I think there's no question based on what I've seen. Is it great financial policy to buy the most expensive house you can afford just so that you could get that improvement in price if you don't plan on moving? I don't know. I don't know about that, but that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Would you pay 28 million for it? I don't know. I don't have 28 million. Now we're coming down in the 17. This is a new listing. But when you just compare, I mean, you're in 92037, okay? You can see the ocean. It's out there. 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, only 8,464 square feet. Whereas this house next to it, 17,450,000, 6 bedrooms, 7.5 baths, 13,532 square feet on a 2.7 acre lot. I mean, to me, it's not even a chance. You would have to go with this house. But we'll look at this one anyway. Been on the market 11 days. It's built in 1991. There's a 5-car garage, but you can see it's not on the beach. You can see it's not on the beach. 18 pictures for $18 million listing. So like I said, if somebody comes at me in a $300,000 listing, I don't have 100 pictures. Just, you know. You do have views, right? That's a fake person. Those are fake people. I don't even know for sure if any of that's real. Any of it. That's fake. I don't know that I like this fakeness. Oh, look, a scaffolding. So I guess they're redoing it or something. I don't know. Maybe that just tells themselves. Beyond functionality and comfort, beyond beauty, this magnificent contemporary home exudes irresistibility. It's extraordinary, from the vast panoramic views to design, to the expansive great room with 22-foot height and soaring floor-to-ceiling windows, framing exquisite day and night views. This hard to imagine to the hard to imagine volume and total openness, undergoing a very substantial remodel expansion with completion expected in early January. Yeah, no. Not interested. I'm interested in this house. Let's take a look. 2.7 acre lot in California. 48 pictures on a 17 million. I like that. Show me the lot in the picture. I mean, look at that. Now you're not on the beach. I get it. This is a pretty nice house. Been on the market 140 days, 5-car garage. You know, have we seen an offer? I don't know. But just look at that. Look at that. I don't particularly need a tennis court. See the outdoor space? Like, I believe that in San Diego, of all places, you could actually spend time outside all year long. I believe this. It's not like St. Louis. Although right now we've got the air conditioner on. Crazy weather. Middle of December. Got 3 TVs. Maybe. This could be fake. I mean, I don't know. I love the theater room. A little uncomfortable about the towels on the stairs. That's a little weird. Are there blankets? I guess because it gets so cold there. Here's your drum set. Full workout room. I mean, look at the laundry room is better than my house. I guess it should be. Anyway, that's a nice house. Let's look at the did we already do this? No. Offering expansive. Expansive is a buzzword, eh? Luxury and privacy. This extraordinary more than 13,500 square foot home, it is, in La Jala's, if I said that wrong, make fun of me. I'm not from California. Exclusive Muirlands Estates offers an elevated design and luxe appointments. A backdrop of lush landscaping frames the 2.77 acres of 5-story resort-like grounds featuring manicured gardens, 2 pools, a spa, loggia with bar, grill and ample seating, tennis court, and tennis room. Interior spaces seamlessly flow, balanced modern living for work, play, and relaxation is all there. I don't know. Do we look at one more house? I mean, just nice stuff. This is a 10,000 square foot home. It's not, you can see it, okay, but it's not on the ocean. But on the market for 277 days, 20 pictures. Look at that. But again, you're not getting that view. Here's your house. I mean, there's the beach. It's pretty. I don't know. Here, let's have some fun. So currently raining 56 degrees and overcast. Okay. It's actually nicer here. Cold sporadic showers expected across San Diego County on Christmas Day. Can you believe that? We got fooled. We're always told that it's nice and beautiful there, and it's rainy and cold. All right, well, would I live in San Diego if I had a couple million? Sure. Over somewhere else? No, not over Colorado or somewhere like that. But anyway, that's what you see. Some nice houses. I don't know where we'll go tomorrow, but we'll get there. Let's get to some articles. I know that's what you're all here for. Home price growth is finally decelerating, and that's just the start. Now, this is from Fortune. It says, exhausted, frustrated, stretched. These are all the reasonable emotions for home shoppers to be feeling right now. After all, home prices rose faster this year than any period in tabulated U.S. history. Between August 2020 and August 2021, the U.S. home prices notched a 19.8% gain, the largest uptake on record, and well above the 12-month peak in the lead up to the 2008 housing crash. It says, but there's a bit of good news for homebuyers. The latest reading of the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index, the leading measure of residential real estate prices, finds year-over-year U.S. home prices rose 19.5% between September 2020 and September 21. That's a slight 3.3% dip marks the first price growth deceleration in nearly 2 years. At first glance, this tiny dip hardly looks significant. However, a closer look at the numbers shows this deceleration is larger than the top-line figure would suggest. While home prices are up 19.5% year over year, most of that uptick occurred back during the red-hot stretch this spring and summer. Indeed, the month-over-month jump in September was just a 1.18%, which is far below the pace prices would need to rise to maintain a 19.5 annual rate of return. Well, I mean, who's going to do that? And this deceleration in home prices increases is just getting started. At least that's what industry insiders are telling Fortune. What's going on? This fall, the housing market began to slow down a bit as seasonality, a period that happens most years around the holiday and vacation season, returned to the market after it was absent last year. Additionally, some would-be homebuyers finally started balking at sky-high prices. This has been happening for a few months, however, and lagging sales data means we had to wait a while to see that first price deceleration on paper. Well, I mean, just being in the marketplace, if I was always telling my buyers, if you don't like the prices, just hold off. But, some people needed to buy a house. I mean, or, you get married and you want to buy a house, that makes sense. If you want to live in an apartment and interest rates are lower than they've ever been, it makes sense to make the jump. I get it. While there's a consensus in the real estate industry that price growth will continue to decelerate, the current growth rate simply isn't sustainable long term. there's not a consensus of what the rate in the U.S. home price growth will look like in 2022. So, would I would be happy with what I would call a balanced market. I don't want to beat the hell out of the sellers. I don't want the buyers to be in a bad position either. Do I need price appreciation every month for a hot market or price growth? No. I mean, in my own head, prices are warped. Some of the this house that I was looking at last week for a buyer, they wanted $250,000 as is for a house that needed maybe $20,000 worth of work, and in a normal market would be worth maybe $200,000. The market didn't make any sense, and so we said no. Now, will they sell the house? Probably, but I don't need the home price growth. Plus, if interest rates do go up, buyers normally pay up on a month-to-month basis. They care about their monthly payments. It's just going to be an affordability factor, compounded even more. It already is. Wouldn't you say every house is an affordability factor? What's keeping you from buying that $28 million house in San Diego? Affordability. You have to be able to afford it. This is just me. Among the 7 industry forecast models Fortune reviewed last week, Zillow's model was the most bullish. Well, what about Zillow should we trust at this point in time, considering their iBuying debacle from last quarter? The online listing site is predicting prices will rise another 13.6% between October 2021 and 22. While Zillow's forecast would represent a 5.9 percentage point deceleration from the current top-line figure, it would hardly represent price relief. It says, after all, in this hot labor market, the average annual raise is still only 3%. So when you're a real estate agent, you don't really pay attention to average annual raises or cost of living increases or anything, because you get paid literally on what you do. So this year been a tough year for me. Didn't do well. You say, why didn't you do well when real estate was so hot? Well, I didn't do really well because my buyers were also trying to sell, so they couldn't find anything. You need to find something first to buy. So they were locked up. Many people got discouraged and went home. They just said, screw it, we're not going to buy anything. So, and then I had, significant competition on the listing side. If you've got a brother or cousin that just jumped in the business, you're going to use them over me. Okay. That's where we're at. Will my year be better in 2022? Yes. It can be much worse than 2020. But not everyone thinks price growth will remain elevated above historical levels of price appreciation. Look no further than Redfin, which is predicting price growth will fall 3%. CoreLogic foresees price growth slowing to 1.9%, and Mortgage Bankers Association forecasts the median price of existing homes will actually decrease by 2.5%. If the economic models produced by the Mortgage Bankers Association, CoreLogic, or Redfin come to fruition, it would give buyers some breathing room, right? That would be true on the price front. However, the overall cost could be the same. Sentence doesn't make any sense. The reason these 3 models are more bearish on prices is because they believe mortgage rates will rise fairly quickly next year. Redfin predicts the current 30-year fixed average mortgage rate will climb from 3.1 to 3.6 by the end of 2022. While the Mortgage Bankers Association forecasts 4%. At that increased mortgage rate, the price savings, that is not growing by the 13.6 rate predicted by Zillow, would essentially get wiped out by the added interest to the loan. Well, that's true. I agree. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Would you still, if you're interested in buying, would you still go out now and look? Like right now, to me, is the perfect time to go look for houses. It's obvious to me. I'm not saying rush, but no one's out there looking at houses over Christmas. No one's called me in the past 3 days about real estate. It's just dead. So if you get out there and you make an offer, you might get a chance of actually getting something done. Let's look at a different article here. Are you making these 4 common home pricing mistakes? Now, to me, as the market was accelerating and just going crazy, you could price your home at anything, make a mistake, and still pay and still do okay. I told you yesterday about the guy that bought a house that I listed for $65,000, decided he didn't want to do any work on it, and sold it for $70,000. I mean, he basically didn't lose. And then when the market turns, you just get hammered. So in this case, let's see what these 4 home pricing mistakes are. I don't know what the common 4 home pricing mistakes are. I'd kind of like to know. Number 1, ending a price in 9. Now, I've ended a price in 9. Previously, the trend in pricing was to end everything with a 9 like they do in the grocery and retail stores, but that doesn't work for online real estate searches. I find that when the seller prices at $599, you lose all home buyers who started their search at $600. I agree with that, but what if you're already really, really high on your average listing anyway? For instance, what if you're trying to get $590 for the property, and someone starts their search at $600? Well, then they miss out. But what do you care? They weren't really going to be your buyer anyway. It says the fix: advise your sellers to price in even increments to capture more online searchers. Hey, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you, when I'm negotiating, I don't really pay attention to the 9. I normally round down on the buyer side. It's just who I am. Mistake number 2, sizing up your neighbors. The most common pricing mistake I've seen in my 14 years in the real estate business is the seller comparing their house to the house that sold down the street or around the corner. Every seller thinks their house is much better than the house that sold down the street and should therefore be priced higher. When this happens, sellers are rarely comparing apples to apples and don't take into consideration that the other house had features and amenities their home doesn't have. This is true, but they don't care. Sellers don't care. They believe that, obviously, if they bought the house, it's the best house out there. The fix: make sure your clients understand that the comprehensive comparative market analysis you provide will give them a more accurate pricing strategy than just comparing themselves to the neighbors. What if they want to list it? What are you going to do? You're going to tell them you're not going to list it for that price? Well, that goes into mistake number 3, pricing too high from the start. Most buyers will overlook a home in the first few weeks if it's listed too high, not in this market. By the time you reduce the price, many of those initial buyers have already found something else or will expect a discount. In our Minneapolis-St. Paul real estate market, we have a 2-week window at the beginning of the listing period to get the highest price. After that time, consumers want a discount. The fix: if you have a seller who is not willing to price where you believe the value is, discuss and agree that once you've had 10 showings without an offer, it is time for a price reduction down to your price recommendation. Be sure to set this expectation up with your seller at the time of the listing agreement. Have scheduled price reductions already agreed upon in the terms of your listing agreement as part of your overall marketing plan. This makes the price reduction call so much easier to make and gives your seller a benchmark to measure against. So, a couple things here. 1, in the past, if you price your home too high, you don't get any showings. So you don't get an offer, but you don't even get 10 showings. Then I wanted to talk about real estate jargon. Price reduction. This one lady writes a book and she says it's a price improvement. And I've heard people in St. Louis, oh, there's a price improvement on this house. Whatever. If that's what floats your boat, if that's what makes you use another agent over me, go for it. Mistake number 4: $1 does not mean $1 out. Many sellers want to be paid for the improvements they made to their house. While some improvements will add value, they oftentimes don't add dollar for dollar value. I once worked with a seller who had custom windows that cost $2,000 each. I told him to a buyer they were just windows, but he thought that they added dollar for dollar value to the home. Needless to say, I didn't get the listing because we couldn't agree on the price. But the house never sold and eventually rented out the property. The fix: provide your clients with a comprehensive competitive analysis and adjust appropriately for home improvements. You know, that is true. That is true. So it's weird. Say you have a house and it needs a new kitchen, and the kitchen costs $40,000. You put a new kitchen in, is the house worth $40,000 more? No. It's this weird game with equity in a home. So I've seen it in my own house, and so that's the best way for me to explain it. So when I bought my house, they said that I bought the most expensive house in the neighborhood, and they were upset with me, the people. My neighbor was like, "What's your problem? You raising our taxes?" I think I paid $169 for the house. Currently, I think I could get $270, $280. Okay. I'm much more willing, just as is, I'm much more willing to put money in my house when I can get more out of it. Okay. But that doesn't mean that I can just go and make all these improvements and people are going to care. And what a lot of people don't, I don't know if this is a men versus woman thing, but let me just put this out there. When I go through a house, and I feel like as a man, I want to know a couple things. One, am I going to have to replace the roof? Like when I move in, or like within the first 5 years? Because I don't want to replace the roof. It's a pain. It's expensive. What about the HVAC system? Is it working? Does it look like it needs to be replaced? Because that's going to be $10,000, and I don't want to spend that. My wife might be looking at the bathroom and how it's designed. My wife might be looking at the kitchen. My wife might be looking at the overall design of the home. It's two different things. I have some really nice things in my home that do not bring any value. Here's a couple of them. One, I have foam insulation in the basement. Okay. Blown in, or, spray foam in the basement for the insulation. My basement is like a cooler, essentially. It's like it never gets affected by the outside weather. Now, can you see that? No. There's no place to see it. So no one knows. So my house is just the same as the other guy that has a finished basement. Under my flooring, I have insulated tiles that are also, if there's any water on the floor, which there isn't, it will funnel water off. Makes it so I can walk into my basement and the floors aren't cold. They're the same temperature. They're the kind of room temperature. Is anybody going to know that? No. Do they care? No. Same thing with windows. I bought this house because it had newer windows. That was a selling point, and that was a buying point for me. Unfortunately, the windows are terrible, and I'm probably going to have to replace the windows before I sell. If I want to, if there's equity in the home, if it makes any sense, I could also use a layer of insulation up at the in the roof, in the attic. But no one's gonna buy a house because of the insulation. No one's gonna buy a house because of the windows. It's kind of how the house looks, how it sits on the lot. I'd say 90% of the people care about that stuff over, your HVAC system, your water heater. If I get on-demand water heater for the house, it may not even be a selling point. It may be something that somebody doesn't want because they don't understand it or they don't want to do the maintenance on it. I want to do one more article? I do. 7 questions to ask yourself for a more rewarding real estate career. Well, I've got a real estate career, and sometimes I don't feel it's very rewarding. And by the way, what are we going to talk about? Rewarding. What does that mean? Everyone has the occasional bad day at work, but if your bad days are getting more frequent, ask yourself the following questions to figure out if you can make every day of your real estate career more enjoyable and rewarding. Well, if you lose a listing, that makes you mad. If a buyer doesn't get a home, that makes you upset. If you have a lot of that happen per month, you're just going to be mad and miserable. I think. I don't. And how are you going to solve that problem with money? Okay. Well, we'll go over this and see how they say it. So it says, how flexible are your hours? Real estate agents consistently rank flexible hours as a reason they love their jobs. However, if your flexible hours mean you're working nights and weekends, set some boundaries around your time so you can enjoy more family time or personal interest. People say that, but when you get in the business, you're working nights and weekends. That's the way it is. Now, I've often thought, what if you get so busy that you can't do all this stuff? Well, I would ask Jan to show a house, pick one night a week, like Friday nights, and say, Jan, will you please show the houses on Friday nights because it's just, too much. I need one day off where I can just relax. That's how I would do it. Would you pay Jan for her time? Yeah. Because I just, there's a certain way I want to do business, and that's the way I'm going to do it. I don't care what other people do. Do you feel like you help people each day? Knowing you're participating in the biggest financial decision your clients might ever make can be incredibly rewarding, but it can be easy to lose sight of this with the day-to-day hustle and bustle. Consider starting an encouragement file where you save positive feedback to review on the bad days. Schedule a coffee meetup with past clients to hear how much they love their home. It will remind you how valued and valuable you are. I don't know. Are there more ways to share your talents? The skills you've developed as an agent can be put to work helping your community. Sit on the advisory board of your favorite charity. Sharing your experience on property acquisitions and management. By serving others, you'll grow more enthusiastic. I'm aligned with a charity, not on the board. Do you earn enough? The amount of money agents can earn can have a significant impact on their feelings about their careers. If you don't think you're earning enough, some continuing education could help update you on emerging trends and best practices. It's a very interesting way to look at it. If I take a class, will I earn more money? Do you control your business? If your broker is exercising too much control without giving anything back, it might be time to reevaluate the brokerage relationship. Look for a brokerage that sets you up to achieve big goals and knows that putting you at the center of their business model is good for both of you. I don't believe any of that. I just don't. The best brokerages leave you alone once you figure it out, and they don't charge you out the wazoo to do that. Are you managing your time? Number 6, poor time management can mean you're working longer hours and getting less done. Explore strategies like time blocking and taking advantage of productivity apps to help you do more with your valuable time. Is there another niche where you'd be better suited? Interests change over time, and the niche you start out in might not be the best fit now. Check out certifications and designations around your new niche and find a mentor who can help you create a roadmap for transitioning to your new market segment. So like if I'm in the horse properties and we got no horse properties selling and I'm kind of burnt out, can't be doing horse properties anymore. That's what it says to me. Is that fair? I don't think so, but it is what it is. So what did we learn today? We learned that there was a movie out on Netflix. Let's bring it back in. We learned there's a movie on Netflix. It's like Heads Up or something. Jennifer Lawrence is in it. Leonardo Dicaprio is in it. We had Christmas at the house. It was fun. I don't know if I'm going to shoot a podcast episode today. It's 11:30 and got to do a bunch of stuff before lunch. Our lunch celebration. Got some good gifts this year. How to not price a house correctly. We learned that. Real estate in San Diego. We learned that the Christmas Story house is available to be rented. You can sleep there. Overall, I think it was a success. If you've been along with me, thank you. Thank you for all your comments in the chat, of which there are none. So that was sarcasm. Have a good day. It's Christmas. Spend time with your family and your friends. And